Hello all and welcome to a new video on our YouTube channel, The Third Man Musings. So far we have previewed 8 IPL sites. We are almost at the end now, just the last couple of sites left. Today we'll be previewing the ninth team, which is KKR or Kolkata Knight Riders. One of the most popular franchises in the IPL and have been successful as well. Who can forget that first IPL game, right, between KKR and RCB,
Right.
where Brendan McCullum and KKR, lit the tournament alight. But last year they had a middling season. Initially, they struggled in the first few games, and then they were able to make it up in the last few games, but they ended up seventh. So last time they did try to adopt baseball under McCullum's coaching, but this time they have gone for an Indian coach and a renowned Indian coach, Chandrakant Pandit, who did well in his domestic career when he was representing India. So will this season be any different for them? They won IPL twice in the past. Can this be the third time that they win IPL? On that thought, Sumit, your thoughts on KKR? Will they be able to spring a surprise this year?
So before the IPL, I think the problem started in the auction. So they traded in Shardul and Loki Ferguson for 10 crore each. So they were really hit with the auction purse, and they I think had the least purse amount with 7 crores. So basically, in the IPL auction, they were just sitting at the table and doing nothing till the end when nobody was interested in buying. And then they bought all their players at the base prices. So the maximum buy was Shakib at 1.5 crores. Other than that, everybody was bought at like 50 or 60 lakhs at the base price. So they were hit by that strategy. Maybe they valued Shardul's all-round ability and Loki's death bowling, and they thought that's much more worth than we think. Actually, I don't think 10 crores is 10 crores is a lot, and the main issue was they were not able to participate in the auction due to that strategy. So big punt to start with before the auction even. So if you see the squad, it's a balanced squad, it's a good squad, but again, the lack of backups is what hurts this team normally, and this year again is the same issue. There's another issue with Strays's injury problems. So his back is not helping him out, and he's missing matches for India, and he's very crucial for India's World Cup chances. So he needs to have a good IPL, but I doubt he can play all the matches. So they need to rotate him a bit to keep him fresh for the World Cup. That's going to be one major balancing act for them. Nitish Rana is a consistent Indian batter. Like very few impact innings I remember, but he was the second highest scorer for them. The two exciting buys for me are Gurbaz and Liton Das. So these two are the wicket keepers plus foreign batsmen. So they do not have a keeper per se. They have taken Jagdish as a backup in case they want to play an Indian keeper. But these two are like swashbuckling openers who will bring you the momentum along with Venki Iyer. So good picks, and they got them at cheap prices. Gurbaz was actually a transfer again from GT, I remember. So again, they really did all their buying in the trades rather than the auctions. Mandeep Singh, again, a journeyman cricketer who plays all your IPL teams one by one. Punjab, RCB, I remember. Now KKR. So the good thing I think this IPL will be with the impact player rule. These Indian players who don't get their chance in the playing 11, they will get a chance now by the batting or bowling, depending on the match situation. Rinku Singh sh- showed up right at the fag end of the IPL, and he really blasted all the teams out, and that's why KKR actually look better in the position in the IPL table than they were originally. So he and Russell combined to create a lot of chases, and he had a great impact. So I hope they retain him. He had a very stellar domestic season also this year. So hope they retain him and like play him and not wait till the end to discover him. So the batsmen are good, but as you can see, and as you go over our playing 11, you won't see a lot of backups. Everybody is going to slot into the playing 11. And that's where I see the major problem for this side. Coming to all rounders, they have a lot of all rounders. I like all those sites which have like CSK. I remember we were really like excited to see the all rounder list. Similarly to CSK, you can see good quality all rounders all over in various positions for batting and types of bowling. So, who according to you is most exciting, Sujay, out of these?
Uh, yeah, great list of all-rounders, right? And interestingly, for KKR, Russell and Narayan made a resurgence last year, right? They have been their iconic players for many years now, close to
Yeah.
6 to 7 years. And in between, Russell had injury problems. He was hardly able to stay on the park, right? He was playing one game and getting injured in the next game. But he seems to have got that sorted, played all 14 games last year, and took wickets as well, right? He was the designated death ball bowler, even though that's not his strong suit. He was their death ball bowler. He took wickets there, 15 plus wickets. Again, went big with the bat. So KKR will be really happy with that, and we'll hope that will continue this season as well. Venkatesh Iyer, after that great debut season, I think he got a little bit found out last season, but then he has the potential to still make it big. And India needs those seam bowling all rounders, right? So
Mm,
we'll be on the lookout for him. Hope he has a good season this time round too. Sunil Narayan in between had remodeled his bowling action, lost some of
okay,
that efficiency, but last year
that's
again he was in the mix, right? And that's what champion bowlers do. So I remember, even though his wicket tally was around 10, 11 wickets, but his economy was superb. It was
very true.
somewhere, around 6 runs per over, which is gold dust in T20 cricket. So Sunil Narayan could again be a big impact player this year. Shardul, David Wiese, and Shakib Al Hasan are underrated all rounders, but very effective, right? Shardul, we have always seen a good trier. Batsmen sometimes underrate him and give away their wickets to him, and he's a very good utility all rounder. Can bowl those 3 4 overs, be a lower, good lower order hitter. So that's there. David Wiese is a good story for me, right? Started his career with South Africa, but then due to lack of opportunities, moved to the Associate Nations. Played very well for Namibia in the T20 World Cup, and he's on the wrong side of 30. He's around 36, 37 now,
Mm.
but I think he's reached at that stage in his career where he has a lot of clarity of thought, and his skills in terms of execution is still there. So if he gets a go ahead, I think I'll be very happy for him. Shakib Al Hasan, one of the leading all rounders in world cricket. Maybe if he had played for more, famous sides in international cricket, he would have been rated much higher. But still, he's a key player for Bangladesh. So they've got
Mm.
good all rounders. How many of them can get selected in that final playing 11 needs to be seen. Uh, on the bowlers, Sumit, what are your thoughts on the bowlers? Can they make an impact this season?
Yeah, so the bowlers are less. Clearly, they depend more on the all-rounders this year. So Saudi, for me, is a backup to Ferguson, although not a like-for-like backup, because Saudi is a new ball bowler and Ferguson is more an enforcer and a death bowler. So will be interesting how they adjust it. I'm assuming Ferguson starts ahead of Saudi, and hope that is the case. Because Saudi not that effective. He's a new ball bowler, maybe gets wickets, but like Umesh Yadav, who's better with the new ball and not good at the death, similar issues for
Mhm.
Saudi. So they used Umesh very well. I think the best that any side has used him in the IPL, and the wickets were there to see. He ended up with 16 wickets, which is the second highest wickets for KKR, surprisingly after Russell, who had 17 wickets. So Yadav did his job, bowling 3 overs up front in the power play and 1 over around the 11th to 12th over, and keeping away from the death bowling. So that was a very smart move. Varun Chakravarti sadly has been on a decline since the World Cup because he got selected in the squad based on his IPL performance. The World Cup did not work out. Then suddenly he's nowhere in the mix, and the mystery is also gone. Though, so he did not have a good season. He took I think 6 7 wickets last year. His economy is still decent. The spin twins help. So Narayan supports him. So that combination I can foresee continuing and hope he gets better. And the injuries are a problem for this guy because he's not a cricketer. I mean, he's
Weak
one of those
knees,
people.
right? Yeah, knees
Yeah,
are.
he left his job and turned to cricket, so he's not like a athlete like all these other guys are. So let's see if he gets better this year, and hope he does because he was very good in that one season. I remember last to last season when he and Naran wrecked everybody with their uh, misty bowling. Greenhorns fairly like Indian fast bowlers. So Vaibhav Arora was in Punjab last year, who swung the ball a bit, got some wickets, and then got dropped as usual, like Punjab does. So he's going to be in the horizon. He will get his chance as the impact player. So look out for him. He's I mean, he's a swing bowler primarily, not a death bowler. And Kulwan Khejrolia comes from RCB, is a left armer. And I remember he got a good beating when he was in RCB. So don't know his prospects this season. Again, a backup Indian seamer if there are injuries. So you can see the squad, and there are a lot of local players we haven't written here because honestly, we also do not have that idea. And that's where Chandrakant Pandit's skill comes in because he's known to be this domestic guru where he knows all these young talent. So maybe there are some surprises waiting for us. Let's see when we go over the IPL over the course of 2.5 months. So we can jump to the playing 11. So yeah, so one interesting thing here I see is the openers because Venki Iyer had a bad season last year, so
Right.
uh, should be better this year. I think that whole peak and plateau theory comes here. With the third season, he should be better and more mature. For me, the second opener is going to be interesting pick between Litman Das and Gurbaz. Both keepers, both from like in a way not the conventional
Associate
big three.
nations, right?
Associate nations is a better way of
Yeah.
saying it. Yes. So who do you favor in this kind? Because Litman had that amazing innings against India where he beat us nearly and he got out right just in time. Gurbaz is a quality player and he plays in various T20 leagues also, so he has that
Right.
experience. So your pick?
I think they might start with Lithon
Hmm.
because he's been in a good vein of form, right? Even when he's been playing for Bangladesh recently, he's been amongst the runs. And certain knocks have that recall value, right? No matter how much
Yeah,
we deny
impact.
it, that
Mm,
knock
mm,
against India in the T20 World Cup has that recall value. So I think they'll start with Lithon, but Gurbaz is also a good pick, right? And Gurbaz is the more specialist keeper between him and Lithon. So
yeah.
so that could also weigh the scales in Gurbaz's favor. But I think they'll
Mhm.
start with Lithon. Now the interesting part is KKR have always had the tendency to promote Sunil Narayan as an opener. Right,
Yeah,
they
that
love
doesn't
that
work.
move. Now,
Uh-huh.
initially it did pay off. I remember a few knocks where he really flayed the ball, right? But then people found out his weaknesses, right? They tried bouncing him out or using a good spinner against him, right? So that over the last couple of years they have again moved him lower down the order. But what's interesting for me is, let's say they feel the need for a good all-rounder in the middle order. Let's say somebody like a
Mhm.
David Vizay or somebody like a Shakib Al Hasan. Don't be surprised if Sunil Narayan then goes again as an opener, and then Jagdishan, who's doing very
Comes
well for Tamil Nadu in the Ranji Trophy circuit, could come in as the Indian middle order wicketkeeper batsman. So that is also a big possibility.
Narayan, I think last year was the year where he came at 7-8 and hit RCB. I remember one of those crazy
Yeah,
innings where
yeah,
they were like 40 of 20, 50 or 20, and this guy just hit five sixes and just finished the game
yeah,
at 7 or 8, by the way.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Even in the bowling, I think he destroyed RCB last year. Yeah. So,
so
so it
he's
was. I remember it was the Narayan versus RCB match. Yeah,
he single-handedly won that game. Yes,
yeah,
last season. So he's very effective. I mean, he's a total value for money player, and that's why KKR have kept him for as long as I remember. I don't remember he has started with KKR only, I think, and I don't think he's played anywhere else
yeah,
ever.
yeah. He has always been with KKR.
So he can be used multiple ways as we discussed, opener or you can keep him at lower down. Russell needs to be fit. I mean. I can't stress that enough because he had a dream season last year where he got the runs, 330 odd runs at his normal 200 strike rate around, and then he was a top wicket taker. The wicket taker part is a bit, uh, I mean, it isn't like stats sometimes lie. That is a case for Russell's wickets because I remember sometimes he took 4 wickets in an over because he used to come in the end and just bowl 2 overs and he used to get hit for a lot of runs. But he would get the wickets because people are trying to tonk him. So that's how his wickets came. I remember nothing so great.
Right,
Rinku Singh, Nitish Rana, Iyer will be the spine. And I hope Iyer bats at 3 because I could see at the end he was sending Rana at 3 and himself at 4. I think Iyer needs to step up and play at 3 and, drive the momentum and show that he's a world class player. He is a world class player as per me, with that there is a short ball shortcoming, but a lot of players have some shortcoming here and there, right?
right,
So I hope he stays fit and gets the rest also that's required and he can drive this team forward because he's a good captain. He did a very good job when Delhi Capitals needed him at that
right.
time when they were doing their rejigging. So in the bowling, how do you see the bowling play out? I mean, for the new ball and the death bowling, because last year they struggled with the death bowling. I remember Russell was being
Correct,
used. So this year, what do you
correct.
think? How do we
I
use it?
No, Umesh Yadav is an obvious one, right? He's very potent
Mm.
with the new ball. Now,
Yeah.
I have a feeling if there is some swing up front, Shardul Thakur becomes very effective with the new ball, right? Where he can
Mm.
nip out maybe a couple of wickets. So it could be that they could start with Umesh and Shardul, and then
Mm.
in the middle overs go with that Sunil Narayan Varun
Mm.
Chakravarti combination, right?
Mm.
And
Mm.
like how Dwayne Bravo was used by CSK over the last few years, where they kept 13 to 20 for him. KKR could keep 13 to 20 for Lockie Ferguson,
Loki.
right? Because he's anyway
Mm.
not that effective with the new ball, and especially in the power play, even if somebody touches the ball, it can
It's
go
too
for
fast.
fours, right? Considering
Yeah.
he goes upwards of 150. So I have a feeling Lockie Ferguson could play the 13 to 20 overs bowler role for KKR, but who will partner with him in the last few overs needs to be seen.
Yeah.
Can it be maybe keep 1 or 2 overs of Shardul or 1 or 2 overs of Umesh, or maybe
Mm.
Russell comes in? But you were right. I mean, last year he got, like, I remember last couple of overs he used to even give 30, 40 runs, right? It was that easy to hit him. So will they do that? That needs to be seen. But they have options, but which is the best one will be quite interesting to see.
Yeah. Let's move to the impact players, and I think the first impact player is fairly obvious, which is Shreyas Iyer. And so he is the captain. He has to, and the injury part is what scares me because he has been missing in action for India lately with multiple in the Test match, now in the ODIs against Australia. So he needs to have a good IPL for his. I think Surya did him a lot of favors by getting two golden ducks. So his number four seems a lock in now. Otherwise, there was a point where, because we know Rahul is going to play at five, Pandya at six, Jadey at seven. So fourth slot was the only one where there were question marks. So I think
Right.
with Surya's contribution with his golden ducks, he is safe now. But he needs to like solidify it further and have that form because we need him with our top order a bit shaky nowadays. So Shreyas Iyer for me, the captain part of it, and leading this team to a top four would be an achievement because I really believe this team is good, but the backups are there are no backups. I really see that as a problem. Like we discussed in a previous video for LSG, there were backups all over the park, and that's something which this team did not have because they went with 20 crores plus for Shardul and Loki, thinking that okay they'll do the job. One injury and this team can be in big trouble. And Russell is obviously a walking hospital, right? So whenever he dives on the boundary, people get scared because he's such a big structure. He might just break something. So he's one of the players I think where they advise not to dive on the field, let it go for a boundary, you save yourself. So that's why Russell is again another impact player for me because he had a wonderful IPL last season with bowling and batting. So they need him, and the good thing is they have a backup for him in like David Vise, who might come in case injury happens. So I see that as one good move they made, taking a good player. Loki, I think is a good move, but I think it was expensive, right? 10 crores plus trade from GT.
Yeah, 10 crores plus was expensive,
Mm.
but maybe the thought process was that there are very few 150 plus bowlers in the
Mm.
IPL, right? So one I think I remember last year there was a keen speedometer battle between Ferguson and Umran Malik, right? One match Ferguson would top
150
it,
plus.
and next match Umran Malik would top it. So I think they went more for that speed needs to be the differentiator, because again if you see Umesh Yadav, Shardul Thakur, all these guys are around that 135, 140 mark, right? More around 135. But Ferguson can be the differentiator. So that's why they've gone with him. And in the death overs, he has a good Yorker. He has good slower balls as well. I remember he can suddenly, flummox the batsman with a good slower ball.
Mm.
Also good back of the length ball as well. So he has quite a bit of variation, and that's why I think they've gone for him as a X Factor player. That could be the reason.
I think Shardul also will have an impact because, as you mentioned, he can take the no, new ball and he might bowl in the death. His batting is always fun to watch. So they nickname him Beefy for our viewers who might not know. He's called Beefy, which is was the nickname for Ian Botham in his prime, because even Ian Botham was a seamer right arm and was a lower order dasher. So big shoes to fill. He got it after his Australia exploits, but I don't remember him seeing him bat so well after that Australia series. I mean, it's been more hype than
Correct.
substance. So let's hope he has a decent IPL because again, it's important for him in terms of his World Cup prospects. India needs some bowler who can bat desperately at number eight. So he and Cheher are in a battle. So this is very important for him, as is Cheher in
For
CSK.
CSK. Right,
Yeah, so
right,
let's see. I would. This competition is going to be good in terms of who's going to nail that number eight slot because I think there is an opening. I don't think India is going to go for three pure fast bowlers plus Kuldeep slash Chahal.
right,
So this is again an important IPL for Shardul.
right. And final thoughts before we end this video on the playoff chances for this team, right?
Mm.
They have a good team, some superstars, right? Russell, Narayan, obviously on their day can destroy any opposition. But again, I think what we have highlighted in this video previously as well, not enough backups, right? And IPL is a long tournament, 14 games plus. If
especially
there are
this season.
playoffs, you will go more than that, right?
So
So
this season is longer, right? I think with
no, no, 14
10
games,
team.
isn't
Okay,
it?
then they're again doing the group one, group two thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they're doing the group
Okay.
thing. So if it goes, including the playoffs, if it goes to 15 plus games, we are not really sure this squad can stand the test of it, right?
Yeah.
Considering peak Indian summer as well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
they might be on the fringes. A lot of things will have to come together for this team to make it to the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So everybody needs to be informed. Shreyas Iyer, we don't know
Has to be
whether
fit.
he'll be fully fit.
Mm.
So KKR fans, I think will be slightly on the cautious
The
side.
edge.
This team
Yeah.
might not make it to the playoffs, but we'll be happy to be surprised if they do. So I think we'll have to see how that goes. Any final thoughts, Sumit, on KKR before we wrap the video?
They'll be entertaining. I think that's one thing I can see in this side with the type of players they have. They'll be fun to watch. Russell, Narayan, and either Liton or Gurbaz, both all these foreigners, and Loki actually. So all four foreigners are very X factor players, which might help them. But as we discussed, if one of these or two of these get injured, they don't have the X factor backup foreigner, which other teams have. So yeah, it's very important. And Shreyas injury, that
Right.
again is going to be
That
my
is the
major
biggest one, right? That is the biggest
from
factor.
Indian prospect also, and KKR. So yeah.
Right.
So yeah, let's see how they go about.
So, folks, that was a wrap from us on the KKR video. We just now have only one side left to preview, which is GT, which we'll be previewing in the next video. So, do let us know your thoughts. Can KKR make it to the playoffs? Can it be a third title for them? We'll have to see that. But do continue to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And we look forward to all your feedback and love. Until next video, take care, and we'll see you for the final video. Bye bye. Take care.
Thank you.